Marvel Disney Plus show. We're not going to do a recap of it or anything. We're just going to talk about some of the things we liked, some of the things we didn't. Much like Resident Evil, there's not a ton to spoil within the show because there's nothing really shocking that happened, I didn't think. I'm not going to not say spoilers. Well, how much we spoil, I don't know. I'm going to let Nick go first this time.
Ms. Marvel was a show I was not looking forward to at all. It looked stupid. It looked dumb. It didn't look like something I wanted to watch. The thing about Marvel Disney movie or shows and movies is they seem to overhype them and get overexcited and over positive about these things. I kept hearing how good this show was, at least the first 2 episodes. So I went and watched the first episode, and outside of a few things, you know, the pacing and stuff like that, I thought this was a fantastic show. I actually think this is probably maybe one of the best things in the Phase 4. I think the young girl who plays Kamala is fantastic. I think her family's fantastic. This is a series that if you took all the Marvel crap out and just made it a family, you know, teen comedy drama, stuff like that, it would have worked. It really would have. You didn't even need any of the Marvel stuff to make this a very compelling show because the family is dynamic and entertaining and fun to watch. You get to learn about their history. You get to learn, you know, a little bit about the culture and stuff like that. And I just thought it was great. And then they add some Marvel stuff in there. You know, Captain Marvel, as we'll both agree, is a terrible movie. I thought it was an awful piece of crap movie. I didn't expect to like this show after everything we've seen with like Falcon the Winter Soldier and Loki and
you didn't like
whatever
Loki?
crap. It was fine. Like I liked it. I enjoyed it more than other ones. I find like WandaVision much better than Loki.
Really?
Loki kind of, to me personally, Loki didn't end very strong, but I do like Jonathan Majors though, so it was definitely better. But I mean, you had like Moon Knight, which started out really strong and then just kind of fizzled out, and I was expecting that to happen here and made it all the way to the end with the big reveal and everything about it, and I'm like, this is awesome. I freaking love this, and I think it's just because of family. This doesn't, like I said, doesn't even need to be a Marvel show, just on the characters alone, and I loved it. Every second of it, except for, like I said, the penultimate episode. It made you feel like they need like 6 more episodes, but for the most part, I enjoyed it.
Okay. Well, my thoughts are a little different in some areas. As far as like the Marvel Disney Plus shows go, I saw Falcon Winter Soldier, WandaVision. I saw Falcon Winter Soldier first. I did not like that show.
No, that show sucks.
It was crap. It was a muddled mess, and it was very preachy, and I didn't like it. WandaVision I thought was a great idea. It had some really cool parts to it, but I thought it tripped up some too. It was way too long, and the end just turned into Marvel. But it was fine. It was entertaining. It was fine. I was cool with it. Loki, I really enjoyed. I did. I really liked Loki. When it came to this one, I was honestly not looking forward to this show. I don't really know a lot about Miss Marvel character except that she has stretchy hands like Mr. Fantastic. Decided to give it a shot, though. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. The first couple of episodes, it didn't seem like a lot was happening. It seemed like they were just focusing on the characters, which is fine. I wish a little bit more had happened, because by the time like episode 3, I think, I was still kind of like, okay, what's happening on this show? Like, you know, I get these characters, I like some of the characters, the world and all that, but I don't really see where the show's going. What's the overarching story? And we do eventually get that. I really liked in the earlier episodes the style and how it like had like the writing all over the place, and it just showed how she's like all over the place and like having almost like ADHD. You saw like her imagination and all that. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a really cool touch, and I enjoyed that. I like that. Unfortunately, as the show goes on, at some point they just kind of stop doing that. It doesn't do it anymore. It's I don't know why they made that choice, because they went hard on it in the first couple episodes, and then it just stops. It turns into Marvel, and that's a problem I think we find with a lot of Marvel properties, especially these shows. They start out with these really good ideas and these really neat things. They go hard on them, and then they're like, oh yeah, we're Marvel though, let's do Marvel. And they start doing Marvel. That's the part of the show that I didn't find as interesting. When it went from being this interesting new take in this show, and then it turned into Marvel. The Marvel part, I was like, I'm not as interested in this. Now, I will agree with you. The young lady that played Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel herself, the character, Iman Vellani? I'm probably butchering that, but whatever. She was great. I really enjoyed her. I thought she was a really good. I liked her character. I bought into her character. Her little friend Bruno, played by Matt Lintz, he was okay. He was fine. He's Peter Parker, which actually I heard that he was actually in the running to play Peter Parker in the new Spider-Man at some point, but lost out to Tom Holland. I liked him. He was fine. Her family as a whole, I enjoyed just the family. I'm not going to say one character in particular did it for me, just her family. her mom and dad and brother and all that. I enjoyed their interactions there. All the other characters were not as memorable, in my opinion. None of them were outright terrible, but they were just kind of there. But you know what? Your main character is great. That's a good start. So I really did enjoy her, and I was really enjoying the style of the show, even though I wasn't sure where it was going. Unfortunately, when we started finding out where it was going, that's when that unique style that I liked about the show and the things I was really into stopped. And it just, Marvel started to Marvel. Now, that being said, when we get to the Marvel parts of the show, yeah, I didn't find that as interesting. I mean, once again, the show was never outright bad. I was never like, this is terrible. But I was never just blown away either. I was just kind of like, things are happening. Until like the last episode, nothing big and epic was really happening. And some people might say, well, it's a TV show. Yeah, but these TV shows are more like the movies at this point. There were actually at least 2 episodes there in the middle. I was catching what was happening, but it was just like nothing was really had me on the edge of my seat. I was just kind of like, One of them where like they're in India and they're running around a lot with these daggers characters and all that, and it was just shit happening. And I was just like, okay, it's fine. I'm not bored, but I'm just kind of not very engaged either.
I guess I just was not expecting anything out of it. I think that's why I enjoyed it so much. You know, I guess I do complain about the fact that nothing really connects and things do seem to be meandering, but I just think the fact that everything felt personal and like close to everyone, and it was interesting to see that they're accepting of who their daughter is and just everything. It feels like she can do what she needs to do, and it felt so heartwarming, I guess.
Oh yeah,
is the easiest thing to put.
The family part of it was I
weird.
really liked.
Yeah,
I thought that was great. Like their interactions, they felt like a family. They felt like I bought them as a family, and I agree. In the end, when she finally let them know who she was, I thought it was great. Like the mom brought her the costume and all that, and that was cool. I really enjoyed the family dynamic of it all. That's what kept it afloat for me too, because the show does kind of lean a lot of the time heavy into the family, and I think that was a good idea, because without that, the other stuff, the Marvel stuff happening in it, just wasn't that interesting to me. It kind of took this idea of these interdimensional Jinn characters and did nothing with it. The son, who was a good guy, becomes bad. Did the mom like inhabit him or something? I don't know exactly what happened there in the end. She died.
I don't know about that.
The mom ends and dies closer to the end, and like all of a sudden it shows the son who's been helping them and a good guy, and his eyes glow, and he's like, oh, right when she dies, like she enters him, but she's not him. He's still him, but he's got these crazy powers now that he's hurting people. He didn't explain that very well. He just got powers. Then I will say on that note, when all that was happening, because in the end of the show, they start to try and protect his character, and they're trying to get him out of the country. The government is coming for him, and she is trying to protect him, and then he starts doing bad things, like hurting people, and she recognizes that's not okay. And there's this moment where she's sitting there and you could tell she's trying to decide, what do I need to do? Do I need to continue to try and protect this person, or do I need to stand up against him because what he's doing is not cool? And it was a fairly quick thing, but I really liked how the show conveyed that turmoil within her, and she was like trying to figure out what I do here, and she makes the choice to help. They did a really good job there. I mean, there was little moments like that throughout the show that I was like, that was well done. That was really good. Nothing was said. Usually these things are like, someone will say it like, oh no, he's turning bad. We've been helping him, but now we must not help him and help the others because he's doing bad things or something. No, they didn't do any of that. It was just they let us see it and make our own judgments there. That was really good how they did that. What do you think about her powers, by the way?
When it comes to the idea of her having like crystal powers or whatever, it's weird because it's different from the comic book, but I think the bigger thing, yeah, it is what it is. They did it for a reason. I don't they're fine.
Well, I kind of I get where people were coming from, because it's kind of like, what if they had Iron Man and he all of a sudden has Superman powers? He doesn't have the suit anymore.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, you took a character, you took the name, but what made them that character, their power, their thing, you just don't have anymore. So I get where people are coming from. I don't follow this character in comic book form or any other form. I was aware of her mainly because of the game, the terrible game that came out a year or two ago. But her powers are she's stretchy. She can stretch all over the place.
Yeah,
it makes her hands real big and like punches people, like kind of like Mr. Fantastic.
Like stretch arm girl.
Yeah. And she stretches all over the place. And this one, she does not do that. She manifests like this crystal stuff, And in the end of the last episode, she does manifest like big, not stretchy. It's just big hands, which is what her character is known for, like these big crystal hands that
Yeah.
go over hers, and she fights somebody. So it's kind of like a homage to those original powers. But I'm like, why adapt this character if you're not going to adapt the thing that makes them that character? I just don't see why they would even change that unless they felt as if it would look goofy.
Her character's also named Miss Marvel, and they have a Captain Marvel, so it's like,
Kind of confusing.
yeah. The biggest thing about this is the introduce. I don't know if you were going to talk about it, but the introduction to a certain idea that has been long wanted to be put into the MCU.
What Nick's alluding to is in the end of the last episode, after all the bad guys are defeated and all that, she is talking to Bruno, I think, her friend, who's like the science nerd. He ran some tests or whatever, and he says that there's something different about you, obviously. It goes beyond the rest of your family. And he says there's some type of mutation. And then in the background you hear the old X-Men music, which they're really going hard into that. This was the official introduction of mutants.
No Ralph Bohner in this one.
Yeah, of mutants into the MCU. I didn't read the article, but there was a funny thing that showed up on the homepage that said people are asking why Marvel decided to debut their big debut of mutants in the MCU being a show nobody's watching. And I was like, damn, that's rough. And I do kind of get that from this show. A lot of people aren't talking about it. I mean, I get why. Like I said, I mean, it's got some interesting stuff to it, but it's not outright boring. It's not outright bad. It's just kind of Marvel, vanilla Marvel, for at least the middle portion. The thing that really differentiated it from the other ones for me was that character and style it had in the beginning, and you get a little bit of it in the end. And I just wish they had not let go of that. The vanilla part of it I probably could have dealt with if they had just kept on with that overall style. I think it would have made the whole thing better. Because she does a great job throughout, and I really enjoyed her character. It's worth giving a watch, but I wouldn't like run out and just like, you've got to see this. I think Loki was a show you got to see. I really enjoyed that. It had lots of interesting things going on. This one's just kind of like, you know, if you ain't got nothing else to do, check it out on streaming one day. The whole mutant thing in the end. Oh yeah, and what the fuck was the thing with Brie Larson shows up in the end, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's just throw that out there, because after the whole mutant thing is said, and she goes, okay, whatever. She's sitting in her room, and her little bangle that gives her powers starts to tingle, and she's like sucked into her closet and pops back out, and it's Captain Marvel, Brie Larson.
Yeah.
Like looking around the room, and I couldn't figure out whether that was supposed to be her in that body, or that was just Captain Marvel. They like switch places, and Captain Marvel's looking around like, where the fuck am I? Or if that was her and she's like, why am I in this body? I couldn't tell.
From what I've heard is that bangle has something to do with the Kree.
Well, yeah,
apparently it's supposed
when
to.
they found it in one of the early episodes, it was on the arm of an alien. When they like, however long ago they found it in like rubble or something like that.
But apparently it allowed them to like teleport each other. So she went wherever Captain Marvel was, and Captain Marvel came back to her house and stuff like that. And it's leading into the Marvels movie and Secret Invasion. That's going to be a series here next year or something like that. So it's like that and the Ten Rings are all connected apparently with those. That's why it's doing what it's doing. Yeah, she gets like flip flopped. So she's not inhabiting Captain Marvel's body or anything.
So that was Captain Marvel. That wasn't her.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I guess cool. Whatever. She pops in there. I mean, yeah, I would be interested. Whatever that Marvel's movie is, now that Kamala will be there, and I did like this character. I don't see that interesting style they had in this show, at least in the first few episodes, going over to this Marvel's movie. That's unfortunate, because I really like that. I really thought that was cool. For me, I think it's worth it when you get a chance. It's just don't run out. You ain't gotta. It's not like, holy shit, this is the greatest show ever. It's entertaining enough if you're doing something or if you just ain't got nothing to watch, or you want something to watch in the background. Her performance was really good. I like the aesthetic of it early on. There's some interesting stuff that happens at the very end of the show.
I think if you like good teen comedy drama type of situational series, yeah, absolutely. Marvel, I think it's one of the better shows. So I mean, yeah, definitely check it out. But like I said, it's more, focus on the families when it truly inspires and works. So yeah, I recommend it.
Both of us agree that it's good. It's better than Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, definitely on that.
But I liked Loki more. I like Loki more than this one.